Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication.
Hello, welcome to Mercy TV, your source for news and information on medical cannabis as the issue unfolds here in Oregon, across America, and around the world. Greetings, my name is Perry, and here with Sonny, we'll be your hosts for this segment of Mercy TV. Sonny, we've got a lot of things to talk about here for this show. There's things about helping folks to get their card, finding medicine now. We've had a lot of folks here recently on that. Finding a grower in the long term, getting to grow themselves, best methods on medicating. We want to talk about the oil, particularly because you don't get high from using this particular oil this way. But changes to the program, particularly there's a bill to add post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, to the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program. We're very excited about that.
Well, you know, Perry, a lot of things are going on, and the main thing that I always like to bring up is the people that are hurting so bad, the ones in the hospital, the ones that are at home that can't get out, the ones that are at home that have been in their house for years because they're hurting. You guys, we know people like this. We've seen it. All these years, there's been lots of people. So if I have seen it, he's seen it, and we're only this little bit, and we've seen it in our circle, well, imagine how many people are really out there. It's really happening to. And that's why we're doing the show. That's why we're doing the Mercy Center. That's why we're doing this, because we, Perry and I, and our volunteers and all the people at CCTV, believe that, you know what, it's that important. If you're the one that's suffering, if you've had cancer or glaucoma or any kind of chronic pain issues, which everything under the sun is a chronic pain issue, and all the pills and all the treatments and all the crap they've put you on and the experiments they've put you through, you know what, that's what this show is about, you guys. Maybe you know somebody, maybe a family member, maybe somebody close to you, maybe one of your friends is family member. These are the things that we need to start telling people to talk about, Perry. You need to, the fear has kept everybody from that conversation.
That's been pretty much the dominant emotion, dominant factor. I'm afraid to talk to my doc. The doc's afraid of this. I'm afraid that my boss is going to find out. What about the feds? You know, all this stuff, and it's just wrong. It's not right. There's no reason to be afraid. Cannabis is not going to hurt you. It's not going to kill you. The addiction effect is less than that of coffee when the studies are actually done and the truth be told. So, you know, there isn't going to be a problem with cannabis. Shouldn't be afraid of cannabis for cannabis itself. I know that in the recent hearings that we had, someone dragged out the old dead monkey scam and tried to claim that marijuana causes brain damage. This is not true, folks. That was an experiment where they literally suffocated some monkeys with marijuana smoke, and it turns out that it wasn't your brain on drugs, much less marijuana. It was your brain on suffocation. But it's still used today as evidence of you know, why we're doing this silly war. But the war is on people like your friends and family. It's a war on members of your friends and family that served, because right now we're trying to get PTSD added for veterans, for police, for firefighters, for a number of folks that suffered, you know, undeservingly in many cases, and continue to suffer because of the things that they've gone through, because the incidences they've survived. But it's now a chance to get out there and define the folks that are the medical cannabis prohibitionists here, because these folks are holding this state and indeed this country back from where we should be. We should all be calling our legislators and getting them to vote yes on the bills that are in the state and the bills that are in U.S. Congress there, and get these things passed, and make it so that all these folks that we've been dealing with here have access to resources. We were talking folks looking for medicine now, but there's no legal dispensaries. There's no legal weeds to dispense.
Well, that's today. We're at that point, but you know what? That's why the Mercy Center has so many volunteers, that everybody's just looking to help each other. And like the fellow that came in today, he just walked in, started talking, and people started handing him medicine, and he's asking why. Well, because everybody's trying to help each other. Nobody's trying to sell you nothing, but at the same time, everybody's trying to help keep the lights on and get the phone paid and keep the internet paid. You guys, we have a lot of bills. We're a nonprofit, but you know what? The thing is this: patients. Patients need help. We are patients. Everybody's a patient. That's there. They're card holders. They know what's going on. And the main thing is this: everybody is suffering with all these conditions and side effects and pills, and nobody is saying anything about cannabis. What a world that we live in, when they got the biggest information of everything in the world at our fingertips, but yet everybody that's suffering the most cannot go and get the help that they need with the medicine that will help them the most. I mean, it's ridiculous. And if you're one of those people that are sitting there in the hospital and you're going, why ain't I getting help? Please talk to your doctors, talk to your family. Everybody's got to have this conversation if you want to get to healing. And remember, you can't try something one time and say it does not work. You have to allow yourself the same amount of time that a doctor does, and that's 7 to 10 days. Everybody keeps coming in here lately and saying, well, I tried that cookie once, it didn't do nothing.
Well, and you need to make sure you got the right medicine too, as well as the right application. If you've got joint pain, if you've got surface condition, things like that, and you want to try the oil topically applied. Also, again, the good medicine, just because it smells like Maui Wowie or Ooey Gooey Thunder Hump or those other things doesn't necessarily mean that it is that. Some of the wheeler dealers now trying to cash in on things have learned to crossbreed, so you get the smell of one without really getting anything else.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody needs to take time. If you're really hurting and suffering and you need medicine, just talk to others there at the center, because everybody has plants. Everybody has these plants. They have medicine and can share. Well, does this strain work for you? Does this food work for you? And then maybe that's the plant you need to grow. Or if you have a grower, then you can get plants like that, because as doing it like this, we're all helping each other and never running out of medicine and never having to go, well, where am I going to get some? Well, because everybody's out there going, well, I have to go over to the $5 gram place because the $2 gram place is out, but I didn't like the $2 gram place, so I'm going to the $1.50 gram place. Well, I mean, those are the stories we're getting, you guys, and nobody wants to hear those stories. Those are all sad stories about people running around trying to find some greener grass that isn't really going on, because when they get it, they're not happy. And they need some medicine that works, and they need some oils and foods that they know are coming from others that are using it and eating it themselves and getting relief, and not having to mess with all of these people and all their trips, that all they want to do is have some quality of life. And that's all that cannabis is doing, is giving everybody a chance to say, you know what, this does give me some relief. I am having some quality of life. And only us sick people understand that, because we're the ones that have taken the pills and been to the doctors and had the blood tests and been through the side effects of every kind of psychological, everything that nobody else. when people listen to these drug things, they wonder, why do they tell these people all that stuff? The reason why they tell all of these things to all of these people, because all of those drugs really make all of those people have all those side effects. So they got to tell you that, hey, go ahead and take it, but you might have everything from...
Right. So with cannabis, it's, hey, you might get dizzy, you might get hungry, you might not want to kill folks, you know. So if that's something for you, you want to be violent, excited, you know, be advised. Cannabis has a habit of chilling people out. And,
well, you might sleep.
And they're aggressive. That's another thing. If you like staying awake and not, you know, and that's funny because that's where they talk about cannabis and driving. You know, another one of the reefer madness things. We expect to see some legislature on making sure we get those scum potheads off the road. And that's the biggest problem with cannabis, is that you relax and fall asleep at the wheel, you know, if you're going to do anything. But no, the driving and train, it doesn't affect your mind like you're drunk. This is not a truism. It's another reefer madness thing. So, yeah, you know, the side effects for cannabis is a very short list. And in some cases, those are things that folks want to have happen, where folks are, you know, having eating issues. They're having sleep disorders. They're having some of the other things that are going on that cannabis works for. Yeah, I don't want to do these things anymore. They're not good things. So properly balanced, properly measured, cannabis is a fantastic part of a therapeutic regimen for just about everything. I mean, it's a shorter list what it doesn't work for. And again, it's a matter of it not working. Has never been a case of cannabis killing someone. No one's overdosed on it, and despite all the tales, no one's gone insane on it. I know that every time one of these cases where someone shoots up someplace, they search in that person's history, and if he's ever smoked marijuana in his life, they bring that out and try to make that. But I don't think that's true. I don't think anyone's really gone out, toked up, and then gone out and shot up.
Well, and those are very important things, Perry. But the main thing is this: is, you know what? There is hope for those people out there watching the show today, because we know that cannabis does help. It's an alternative medicine that nobody in our society today is really talking about, well, except Washington. Washington's talking about it. They're making a whole lot of money on it. Colorado's talking about it. We're in Oregon. And you know what? The Mercy Center is open Monday through Friday, 12 to 6. And everybody there's a volunteer. You know, we're a nonprofit. We're just trying to help others like yourself get to some quality of life that, you know, at one point you used to think was possible, but a lot of people that get to us usually say, I lost my quality of life. Mm-hmm. And that's sad. I did. I know I lost it, but you know what? We got it. Cannabis is such a good alternative for so many things and gives everybody freedom that they never knew they could have. And today is the best day because you're learning things that you didn't know about. And one of them is that cannabis can relieve a lot of things and cut off all of those pills you're taking and all those side effects you're having, and go, wow, I really am feeling better. Mm-hmm. And when you yourself feel better from not taking all those pills, and you tell the doctor cannabis is helping you, geez, you just want to jump up and down and say, look, this is working. Hello, I feel better. I'm not taking all these pills, and really, I'm just using some cannabis. I'm eating some cookies. I'm smoking a doobie. Hey, you know what? I got to admit, I rubbed some oil on my leg, so now my leg is not completely locked up, and it doesn't hurt and feel like I'm walking on a spin.
Right, and you didn't get horrifically stoned. You weren't couch locked because you applied it topically to the knee there.
Exactly.
You know, it's far away from the brain. It doesn't work like that. Nobody goes through that. In fact, they get up because the relief is like a Bengay. It's like it's incredible.
Exactly.
And furthermore, we've got reports of folks having chest respiratory things,
Right.
things you wouldn't normally you would expect to need something that would bring that out. And the hemp oil has worked there as well. Also with the pressure and pain from migraines, folks rubbing it into this area here on their
sinus
surface.
cavities, yes.
And again, experiencing the pain relief, experiencing the pressure relief, but not getting high, not getting couch locked.
Those are
and
so
all those other
important.
things.
What Perry was just saying about the congestion in your chest, in your front right here, and in your back, you can literally rub those oils on you, and do you know it's better than taking any pill, any decongestant or antihistamine you could ever take, because after doing it for a few days, you'll notice it's gone, you're sleeping, and you can breathe, and never took no pills. Well, the pills have lots of side effects to them now, and the oil, there is no side effect.
Well, it's important to note that these are unsolicited stories that we're sharing with you here. We didn't, this is not something that we thought we saw. It's not something that we're making up to tell folks. It's not something we told folks to, you know, how did it work for you? They came in, they told us, hey, I got to share this with you. We did this worked. We'll share it. Now we're sharing it with you so you can get that benefit. And hopefully move forward with this knowledge and make changes, you know. This medicine should be available for everybody. We shouldn't be having to pay this $200, $250 for permission to use this medicine. That's just wrong, folks, and we are only going to change it by all of us badgering our legislators this legislative session and then voting accordingly in 2014 and setting up the next session so we get real positive effective change. And using this medical cannabis issue as a litmus test is a good way to do it. We're going to clear out those, like I said, flat earth thinking prohibitionists that we don't want, who's their hands at the helm of the ship of state. And we're going to promote those folks that did have the vision, have the courage to deal honestly and truthfully with the medical cannabis issue and see to it that the right thing was done, saving us here in Oregon and our loved ones untold suffering as well as dollars.
Well, and people are out there today, Perry, and they're going, I never even thought about using cannabis, because all they heard is bad things. And then you got all the fear you have about cannabis and using it and what people are going to think and what they're going to think at church and what they're going to think at your doctor's office and what they're going to think, because the people at your doctor's office know people at the church. And, you know, bro, I know all of it and I understand it. The thing is this, if you can start feeling better and go, hey, I want to share this with somebody, this alternative medicine, cannabis, I actually feel better. I actually got some sleep. The gentleman that came in that talks about no sleep for 16 years, never had it, been on every pill, been sent all over the United States because he's retired, you know, blah, blah, blah. You guys, it don't matter. The thing is this, the relief one person can get and that we can share with you and that you might be able to get by having some, like he was drinking tea. He put cannabis in his tea and drank his tea at night, and it allowed him to sleep better than anything in all the pills, and with no side effects and no grogginess in the morning, and able to get up and feel energetic. Now, a lot of people have came in and talked a lot of side effects about the next morning, and that wasn't one of the side effects, getting up and feeling energetic and being able to go.
Yeah.
From cups of tea. 2 cups of tea, he said 2 cups is about what he does, and it works. And this is somebody who has never used it, who thought it was all bad, and then he's seen the show, took a chance, went and did it, and just had to come in and tell us how good it worked for him. What a blessing. Of course, none of his other doctors would do it for him. He had to have all of his papers sent in, and he had to go through the specialist. So don't feel bad if you have to go through the specialist. A lot of people's doctors will not sign. But they'll give you the paperwork that allows you to get it signed.
Right.
So, I mean, it's all about you. What do you want to do? We're trying to get everybody to have a better quality of life because today's quality of life sucks, taking all those pills and living those side effects and going, man, there's got to be more than this, and I got to be able to feel better, and I got to stop taking all these pills. And I think cannabis is what will allow people to explore lessening the pills that they're taking and maybe able to have a quality of life that they've lost.
Well, it's certainly been the case that we've experienced there. I've yet to meet someone who ended up taking more pills because of their cannabis therapy. It's always been the reverse. And it's not any small change. It's always been, 90, 80, 75% of their pills usage, Folks going from a dozen medications to 3, they're having to take them 4 or 5 times a day and umpteen dosage. The dosage goes down. So that's a big quality of life. You're not having to worry about the medicine. We talked earlier about worrying about the contraindications, the mixing. You got one medicine, does all these things. You don't have these things all these different times and all that forth. It's a great relief, much better quality of life, and the dollars is not to be ignored. In some cases, it was taken by insurance, but still, that goes somewhere. You follow the money, they say, follow the money trail, and you may see why the war goes on. Those folks who stand to lose those monies, going from picture somebody going from $1,000 a month to $100 a month on their medicine stuff. Someone's going to get upset about that if they're the ones losing out on that monies. But we, the people, need to pursue this anyway. Again, quality of life, safety of life, and expense of life. These are all the things that medical cannabis means to folks as they tell it to us in
Right.
case after case after case. Our members there have experienced it, but our members is just the tip of the iceberg. There's thousands of people that we've helped to get their cards all across Oregon and in all the states that have the card and across the world, and hundreds of people to network to resources now, whether they're going to try to get growing themselves or find a grower, or they're looking for best methods on medicating, or where do I get the stuff to medicate it? When we talk about the oil, how do folks make it, and where do they get the stuff to make it with? It's easy, actually. It's household products.
Well, and those are the things, you guys, don't worry. Everybody just knows that I have a place to go.
Right.
I have a place I can find out how to do all these things. I have a place to go where people are willing to share, and they're already patients, and they already know what they're doing, and they're not doing it for profit. They're doing it because they care about their brother and sister, and that's what we keep telling everybody, but nobody seems to hear, you know. I mean, the ones that do are so hurting so bad,
Well,
know?
some folks here, the word is slowly getting out, but we need you to help us get the word out, help you, help each other. I mean, when we tell you growing, it's not easy because there's so many variables. You indoor, you outdoor, you want to go dirt, you want to go hydro, all kinds of things there involved. And so you want to talk with someone that's in pretty much the same situation, so you can go over all those parameters and variables. We have not just our folks there with their experience, but our Oregon Cannabis Connection. We have our Mercy newsletter. These things have recipes. They have tips on growing during the grow season. They have an insert which talks about your outdoor cycles and pros and cons. Also, places that have resources do the advertising there.
Well, and it's all over the state. Everybody can find out everything from the phone numbers and websites and addresses. And that's what we're trying to do, is hook everybody up and get you the information that you need, because you know what? That's what's important. Don't be hiding this information from people that need it. There's a lot of people out there that need it, and you know what? It's time that a few people stand up and say, you know what, here, let me help you. Because everybody's too busy running around trying to make money off of these people who are so sick that if you gave them a chance and gave them some food and some oils and some medicine and watch how good they feel, and everybody will go, wow, what happened? And nobody wants to believe, well, cannabis is really the turnaround that made it all happen.
Well, there's a lot of people denying it. You know, you won't hear it from the folks we're talking with, the folks at us. But yeah, mainstream media, if they bother to report it at some twist of it that doesn't tell the truth, it speaks negatively to it. And it's up to you to spread the word, to find out, check it out, and pursue it to the most. And then act. You know, it's don't make it enough that you take care of yourself. Take care of the next person. Make sure it's there for your kids, your children's children. You know, it's really just the tip of the iceberg too. In addition to the medical cannabis stuff, we have legalization, which would make it medical for everybody and just plain end the war, and allow hemp to happen. And there's the real deal, folks. Industrial hemp in Oregon, and it's game over for prohibition. And the recession here in Oregon, you know, that'd be one way to turn that thing around and make it a long-term fix, is to allow industrial hemp and all the things that would come from that. But it won't happen until all of you there get involved. Contact your legislators, both in here in Oregon State and in the U.S., to pass cannabis law reform legislation, especially the medical cannabis law reform that's going on this session. In 2014, you want to be involved again in 2016 and keep this an ongoing thing. It's not a one-time deal. We're not going to, you know, do it once and it's going to go away and stuff, or nothing like it's going to be seen again. So here's your chance, folks. You always wanted to take the country back. You always wanted to get involved and do something. Here's the issue: medical cannabis. So check us out at the Mercy, the Medical Cannabis Resource Center. We're open Monday through Friday, noon to 6. And you can get a hold of us on the phone.
503-363-4588. And you know what? Here, we're talking about the hemp. Real important. You guys, these are things that could bring up the economy, that would help. Do you know what's about hemp? We could have one show just on hemp.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's what we need to do. Because everybody, if you don't know the amazing things you can do with the hemp, just ask.
Well, there's a health connection. You know, we talk about folks getting healthy with it, getting those things out of the cannabis plant. That's purely about the health things. None of the THC. It's all this nutritional thing, as well as the cannabinoids and cannabinoids that have the medical value. But it's also environmental. You know, it puts water into the system. It puts nutrients into the soil. It's a beautiful thing. But it won't happen unless you make it happen. So help us help you to help make it happen.
Well, you know, I appreciate all the people that help us do this. And if you know somebody, please have the conversation. Talk to them. Ask them if they've talked about it, heard about it, used it. If they know about it, maybe they need to think about it.
Well, and another thing, HempFest season is coming upon us here, so there's going to be a lot of musical events going on, a lot of opportunities for folks to get out, to have some fun, to educate yourselves, and pick up some more information that you can go forth with. And it'll be a beautiful HempFest season, I think, this time.
Well, it's an experience, because if you don't know anything about it, you will learn a lot, and you'll understand that, man, cannabis is such a good alternative medicine for everybody. It's not just for some folks, it's good for everybody.
Alternative fuel, alternative food, alternative bunch of stuff. So
clothing, and all of the good nutritional foods all got hemp in them. So
this and more can be yours if you only make it happen. But that's all the time we have for right now. Thanks. This has been Mercy, the Medical Cannabis Resource Center, and our TV show that we do. Appreciate you helping me out here, Sonny.
Thank you, Perry, and thanks to all our volunteers that help us every week. We sure appreciate it.
We'll see you next time on Mercy TV.
You want to say anything before I turn it off, Glenn?
Yes, good night.
Good night. God bless you all, every single one of you.